Well, finally, we have got this together, honey, because this has been something quite special. Just the organizing alone has
You
been.
have no idea. You have
I think I do. I think I do. I think I do. But I'm glad to finally have one of the first ladies of Philadelphia here in my living room.
Oh,
I'm loving all that Chinese thing behind you there. What's going on there?
No, that was the second thing that drove me crazy. We're in the house. Am I going to put this? I'm thinking, okay, this is good.
Honey, I'm sure you live in a palace. It'd be fine.
No, I do. No, I don't.
I expected to see you reclining on a chaise lounge covered in leopard skin.
Well, now see, this is our first time.
Okay.
I didn't want to take it too far.
Well, actually, this is our second time, if you remember.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Or am I that forgettable?
Yeah, no. I mean, this is our first time seeing.
Visually, that's right.
There you go.
So how are you doing, sweetheart?
Not bad. I'm going a little stir crazy because it's been some time since we've been off for this long.
Yeah.
I really have gotten well, you know how you buy houses, but you never actually get to live in them. Well, that for us, because we're always moving. You're always on tour. So therefore you come home, you clean the house and you leave. And you come back and you stay for a couple of days and you clean the house and you leave. I've been able to clean the house and stay in it for a minute now.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
Throw out a lot of stuff.
For more than a minute, which is actually getting on your nerves. You're not used to being still for so long.
No. And my body is telling me. So it makes sure that I have to get out there at least twice a day and run up and down the sidewalk, for a good 20 minutes at least.
And keep that figure going, girl, for when you get back to stage in those gowns.
You have no idea. Those gowns I have them hanging so I can see them as a reminder. I have to fit into that.
That's the problem with lockdown, isn't it? The fridge is everybody's best friend.
Yes. And what else you gonna do? You watch TV and you eat. There's but so much house cleaning you can do.
Yeah, but the eating on the couch watching TV is so comforting.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. And that's the trap that we've all fallen into. That's what we really want to do.
Yes.
But we get caught up with work and running up and down, but we really want to just stay at home and eat.
Stay at home and veg. Yeah.
So we have to think of some healthier snacks.
We've limited ourselves as far as the chocolate is concerned.
Yeah.
And I see you have something there. Is that pineapple juice or grapefruit juice?
It is ginger and lemon tea that I made.
Ooh. Now see, that sounds nice. I like that. Yeah. I like that.
But I didn't mention the brandy in the bottom. No, we'll edit that. No. We'll edit that.
Because see, I'm not going to show you my big glass of red wine. I'm not going to do that.
Okay, you can show it to me. Isn't it 11 o'clock in the morning there or something?
No, I'm just kidding. No, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's my free.
Yeah, anytime after 12 is good to start. That's fine.
Oh, it must be sometime to have a drink somewhere.
Anytime after 12 is fine. So let me hear the Valerie holiday story because, you really are a legend. And as
my God.
One of the first ladies of my all-time favorite record label, Philadelphia International Records.
Oh, wow. I threw these lashes on so fast, I'm hoping they stay.
Me too.
That's all I can think about, oh gosh, because it's been a year since you had to put them on, so you had to make sure they were, and I, for some strange reason, have this big star on my calendar for you for tomorrow.
Yes, I know. It was a very special time arranging this meeting. So you know what? I'm just glad that we made it.
I know. Me too. Me too.
That we made it.
Me too. Because for a moment there, I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to have to put a picture in front and he can look at that.
And you just talking at the back.
There you go. There you go.
So the last time we spoke, you were here doing gigs, and you were at the Boysdale, and we did a nice quick interview over the phone. But it's lovely to be able to see you in person and let the viewers see you as well.
Thank you.
So, as I've been saying with these interviews, I think with COVID, out of evil cometh good, because these would usually be phone conversations, but now they're actually visually and audio. So we can see your beautiful Chinese decoration in the background.
My Japanese, darling, Japanese.
It's Japanese. I stand corrected. So yes, tell me about Valerie Holiday. Where did it start for you?
Oh my gosh.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in Newark, New Jersey. My mom moved probably when I was about maybe 4 or 5. And we came south to stay with my grandmother, Atlanta, Georgia. Well, it's where we live was a little further down than Atlanta. It was what they called the boondocks out in the residential, really, really out there.
Right.
So and being the only one, I of course had to amuse myself most of the time.
So you're an only child, no siblings?
My mother had my sister when I was 16. How do you like that?
Okay, good.
I wasn't too happy at first because everybody in that time, they thought she was mine. And I didn't appreciate that. I really did appreciate that. But yes, my sister and I was down with my grandmother alone, but we moved back up to Boston, Massachusetts. That's where I started. Of course, we joined a church. My initial upbringing in music came from my grandmother, because in the South, those morning services on Sunday, and everybody's dressed in their finery with the hats and the whole 9 yards, fashionistas to death. The only accompaniment you had to the voices was a tambourine. So it was very inspirational to hear all those beautiful tones, I remembered all this when I started singing professionally. We went to Boston, joined a church that had different choirs. And so I initially was in the Little People's Choir. And then I, of course, graduated. As you get up in age, you graduate to the different choruses. And when I reached the one, when I was like maybe 17 or 18, we were into very intricate harmony patterns and things. You know how when you go to those gospel churches and the choir gets up and they just totally blow you away. So this is where I really got my vocal training.
Yeah. And I'm finding with all, and I can literally say with all of the interviews I've done with all of the artists, the one common denominator is the church.
Yes.
It is the church.
The music.
For those that didn't necessarily what you would call have formal music training, vocal training.
Right.
It started in the church.
There.
And that seems to be so far the best training.
Because you have every need, and for harmonies, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I met a friend of mine in Massachusetts named Barrie. He's passed now, but he was part of Bootsy Collins and was the Funkadelics. Right,
Bootsy, of course. Bootsy, bass player.
He was keyboard.
Bootsy, yes.
Yes.
Bootsy Collins.
And Barrie was with him up until the end. He introduced me to other people in the business. We started as a trio, and of course working the little local places around town. And a friend of his came to see our show, who was a dancer and knew Richard Barrett and the ladies. And he said to me, I have an idea. I don't know if this is something you want to do, but I think you'll enjoy it, because I really didn't like being out there by myself. After after you finish just the set, you go back and sit someplace all by yourself, and I didn't particularly like that. So when he said, I have a group that needs a replacement, So I thought, okay, let's just go check it out. And we did. I met the ladies and saw the show, and I thought, okay, wow, yeah. And when I went backstage, first thing they said, okay, there's a step, a dance move that is basically throughout the different songs that we choreographed, and it was called the Philly Dog. And they asked me, can you, and then they showed it to me, and she said, Sheila, can you do this? And she and Faye started doing the dance. And I chimed in with them, and they said, yeah, you're hired.
What you mean, really and truly, you joining the 3 Degrees was as simple as that?
Simple as that.
And
because the young lady that was there.
Were they called the 3 Degrees at the time, or did the name change?
No, they were called the 3 Degrees at the time. They had a young lady from who was no longer with the Chantels, but was a very good friend, Sonia Goring. She was there. So there's always been 3 of them.
Yeah, because I've done my little bit of research, and it said that over the period they've been, I think, 15 members. But
I know.
They've always just been on rotation.
You have to remember that initially we were all graduating just out of high school.
Yeah.
And at 18, you really don't know what the heck you want to do.
Yeah.
So there were ladies at the very beginning, the 2 that started out with Fayette. I think they were there for about a week. And then somebody else came in. They were there for a couple of weeks. And somebody else came in and they were there for maybe a month. Janet Harmon was in the group as well. So it's like you really can count on one hand the number of people that actually contribute and put it forward.
And Helen Scott was one of the originals, right?
Helen was there, and I think she left in 63, I want to say. 63, ignore that. I didn't take the phone off the hook.
You see, you're so in demand. Can you just let them know you are mine for an hour, okay?
It'll stop in a moment. And I took the one that I have in there and put mine away. But then this one, I forgot the one that's in the kitchen. And unfortunately, I'm sitting near it. There you go. So you can count on your hand how many ladies who actually have been true, what we would call true degrees.
Yeah. So Helen Scott was one of the originals. She left for quite a while.
She did. She was gone for 11 years, and she did a lot of stuff in those 11 years, though.
Yeah, I'm sure, as we all would in 11 years. You know what I mean?
She had a chance to have a family, which she had 2 already. So to actually have a life, because this business does not allow that.
Yeah,
you don't have
exactly. You are married to the business when you get to that level that you guys were. I mean, come on. You were at the top of the game, you know what I mean? It's at the top.
But it was fun. It was fun. We enjoyed it. And when I joined in 67, it was, rehearsing. We rehearsed all the time because we wanted it to be tight. We enjoyed harmonizing together. So sometimes we'd sit in the room and just do arias, and just do interchanging.
Just
my favorite song,
exercising those voices, those vocal cords, and working out how you all sound,
figuring out what works best, how to use what voice where. In MacArthur Park in particular, we had really a lot of fun doing that one because we interchanged. Faye and I interchanged our places. Well, Sheila too, in the harmony.
Yeah.
So, it was fun. And the routines, we wanted it to look, when Richard was demanding, when one hand went, they all had to be the same.
Same direction, yeah. And I think that was a prerequisite of the era. Though, I mean, now the younger generation, they do choreograph stuff.
No,
and
not really.
It's different. But I think that was definitely a prerequisite of the time, because when you look at all of the record labels, all of the groups,
everybody has
it was synchronicity. It was synchronicity from the moves to the outfits. You know what I mean? So I mean, pretty special. But also, what I love is when people see legends like you guys at the top of the game, they only see the top of the iceberg. They only see the success. They don't necessarily appreciate the
work
journey and the work that went in beforehand. And more often than not, again, like with the church being that common denominator, all of the artists I've spoken to, they've said, you know, we were going 10, 15, 20 years before you all heard about us. Before we made that big hit that made us famous and everything.
Before you heard When Will I See You Again?
Yeah, you know, there's like 10 or 15 prior years of gigs, blood, sweat, and tears that
they
people
don't realize.
I realize or appreciate. You know?
And they don't realize that sometimes people will say that, okay, you're never in the United States, but what they don't realize is we, in the 60s and in late 60s and all during the beginning of the 70s, we had performed in just about every major nightclub that there that there was in the United States. So we did do our just dues to the US, but when we finally realized that, okay, Richard said, okay, well then let's do something different. Let's do something else. And we took the album and we went to England.
Right.
And unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to look at it, for us, we think fortunately, the album took off. So, and you know how the promoters are. You know, when before you finish one tour, they've already booked another tour. And it just kept mushrooming like that. We go from
just turning and rolling.
Go from a tour in England to a tour in Japan, and then you go over to Indonesia, and before you know it, that whole year is gone.
Yeah. So were you all signed to anybody else before Philadelphia, or was that your first label?
We were with Warner Brothers. We were with Metro Media. We were with Roulette Records.
And all of this was before Philly?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Our first release was on a label called Neptune, which was Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, and a tune called What I See.
Right.
That was our first release.
Right. So that was on Neptune, but it being Gamble and Huff, was that obviously Philadelphia Records affiliated?
They had not gone into Philadelphia International as of yet.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was a pretty special stable of people. Kind of like Motown.
Yeah.
The stable, the people that are under that umbrella is just phenomenal. I mean, you guys and Patti LaBelle and, Gene Carnes, all of you, Teddy Pendergrass, Billy Paul, Lou Rawls. It was just endless.
Yes.
Phyllis Hyman,
One of my favorites.
Yeah, just an amazing time. So what was your first hit that went really big for you guys, that put the 3 Degrees on the map big time?
Stateside, it was a song called Maybe.
Okay.
It had been originally recorded by the Chantels.
Right.
Rick Barrett was the author. And so he said, okay, I want you girls to do a rendition of this, but I want you to do something different to it. So we put our heads together and thought, okay, what? So we said, okay, let's put a monologue on the front of it. Yeah. We started doing songs with monologues before they were the thing. We were always being told that we were before our time.
Yeah.
Because you come out with things that nobody had done yet. So therefore they weren't quite sure, So, but that one it went R&B, top of the charts all the way across the United States.
Right.
And that was our first number one.
Okay. And that was on Philadelphia? Or that was that before?
Oh, that was on Roulette Records.
Roulette. Okay.
Yeah. After that, we went to Warner Brothers. We had a little light hit on that. I Do Take You. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm trying to pull out some of the other ones.
Yeah, but again, it is that journey that was there before we even knew about the 3 degrees. Because I
Yeah.
think you guys kind of hit the UK big time in around 1972. I think it was Dirty Old Man.
Dirty Old Man was first, yeah.
Big tune, big tune, big tune. But I think that was when you all really hit the UK big time. When then it was just hit after hit. When will I see you again? I like being a woman, and all of those.
Dirty Old Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Year of Decision.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I can't tell you your story. You're here to tell me your story. I can't tell you your story.
When somebody asks you, okay, when you're interviewing, they ask you different questions about back then. It's like I really have to try and pull it forward because you were so busy living it. You really were. We weren't taking notes.
Yeah.
So you weren't really conscious of the time, only the place and what was going on, and the speed with which everything was moving. It was like you really didn't have time to sit and that's because it was going by so fast.
Yeah, but you all did so much. And as you say, by a certain age, you'd already traveled the world and seen and done and been,
Yeah.
So, and it's great that guys like you are still creating. You're still making music. And
we love what we do.
A new single, don't we? Let me hear it.
I started out as a single artist.
Right.
And when I joined the group, I promised myself at some point in time, I was going to go into the studio and record that solo album that I had intentions of doing. Yeah. Well, we had a whole year. Now, mind you, I've been doing this for the past, working on it periodically for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be mine. When you're in the studio with the producer and the record company and everybody's giving you the input of what they want the material to be and sound, and you're following instructions.
Yeah.
With this, I was reveling in the fact that I could do whatever the heck I wanted to do.
Yeah, I'm being left alone. This time is mine to do it the way I want it done.
My way.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, and I didn't feel the necessity to speed through it because it wasn't necessary. So therefore, I just did it whenever we would come home. I'd go in the studio and do, a little bit and go in and listen to that and see if I was happy with that. And if so, then we'd move to the next song. And I finally got it done. And so I thought, all right, let's get this out here now. You were not doing anything, so let's release this.
Well, I mean, that's so many common denominators with artists. It's just unbelievable. But that time that you've had at home, rather than being bored and in between eating, of course, a lot of you have been creating music and writing or recording or whatever.
Yes.
And
yes.
I say that us, the listeners and the viewers, we're very grateful for that because you guys have got us through a lot of the lockdown. Believe me.
That's nice to hear.
We put your records on.
Yes.
We pour a little brandy. We have a dance like everything's okay. And then, we go to bed and that's it. We have a good night. But, a lot of us have got through it because of the music. And
yes. Yes, because I have the artists that I love to listen to, and you're absolutely right. That is what gets you through the day,
So what is the album called? What's the net title?
The album is called In Bloom.
In Bloom. Okay.
Yes.
How many tracks?
At the moment, I wasn't like, I was really, I couldn't figure out how many to put on there. So I thought, okay, let's start little.
Okay.
And there are 7. I put 7 on there.
7, right.
And I pulled together the standards that I absolutely love. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to as one
Because
of
you
my.
did send me a sample of
I did.
All
What are
of
you
My
doing?
Life.
What are you doing the rest of your
The
life?
rest of your life. That's
Yeah.
it. Yes.
We
And
did
that,
I did that on a television show. We had a live concert on the
okay.
on BBC, and
Right.
they recorded the show. And in one of the shows, that was my solo. So I
Right.
thought, hey, I want to do it again, but I want to give it a little different flavor, So I took the opportunity to do that. As one of my friends say, my Valerieism.
Yeah, well, there's always that possibility to be a solo artist, and even though you categorically state you are not leaving the 3 degrees,
No, this is just
are,
something I always wanted to do.
yeah,
And this was the perfect time to do it because then it didn't interfere,
yeah.
with anything else.
And as I say, obviously that's why it took that long to do, because you were doing it in between touring with the girls.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you were fitting it in, but
Yes,
it's good that you finished it. So you see, lockdown has brought many good things.
it has.
It's brought many good things. Now we have to talk about one of my favorite scenes of the 3 degrees. And we've spoken about it before.
Uh-oh.
French Connection in that club. Oh my God!
You know how we got that? You know how
you need to tell me again. You need to tell me again.
We were performing. I said we've done all the clubs in the United States. The Copacabana was the place to perform in New York. And we were performing there. And William Friedkin, the director, came and to scope out the club to see, for shooting, for the scenes, to see how they were going to do what. And when he heard that song in the show, he decided that he wanted to put it in the movie.
Everybody's going to the moon.
Yeah.
I mean,
we were blown away. We were totally blown away.
So he just said, yeah, we want that in the scene. So
yes, like the three of you ladies to perform that song in the movie. And you know how they do in the movie, they do intakes and outtakes.
Yeah.
And you can hear the music in the back, and our actors are doing what they do. It took us 3 days
to shoot that scene.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's fabulous.
It was fabulous. It was fun. By the time we finished, everybody, of course, that was in the movie scenes, we were all laughing at the fact that they were eating those same peas for 3 days. It's like, okay. Because you have to have continuity. You have to have continuity.
That's right. But I mean, the way it's shot is phenomenal. Side, above, front, and it's you girls again in the gowns, working those gowns. And yeah, just perfection. So guys, if you haven't seen French Connection,
gotta check it out.
Or just Google the 3 degrees in French Connection and see
there
the scene.
You go. There you go.
It is the best. So I mean, the thing is, with the 3 degrees, it's one of those groups that has never finished. It's just done that whole evolution of different members coming in and going, and different members coming in and going, and just keeping going till here we are now in 2021 and still going.
I have to say that the longest lineup of the 3 degrees was Helen, Cynthia, and myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a 20-year.
So that was from which years? From after Sheila left?
Yeah, about 89, because it took us a minute to find her.
Okay. Cynthia.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you and Helen are your old friends.
I'm way back.
Come here, girl. We need to keep things going. Just come, but we need to find another one. Yeah.
Yes. Then Cynthia, unfortunately, developed from she was younger. She was involved in a car accident, and how as you get older, those things have a tendency to come back and revisit you.
Yeah.
So she was unable to continue. So that meant, okay, now we've got to go out there and beat the hedges and try to find. It's like, oh, not again. We don't want to do this again. But fortunately, Freddie, we were already friends with because she was with the former ladies of the Supremes, and we had done several tours in England together.
Right.
So she had just left the former ladies. So we said to her, "Okay, would you be interested?"
Absolutely.
He said, "Yeah."
Absolutely. And
He
she
said,
fitted in because I mean, it must be really difficult to, when you have an existing group,
yeah,
and a member goes to find somebody. It's not just about if they can sing or if they can dance. It's the whole package of energy. It's the energy as well. Yeah. Do we gel as people?
There you go.
So it must
personalities.
Yeah,
the personalities are very
difficult to find a replacement, but you know, not impossible because you've done it, and here we are still going.
Yeah.
So, you know, quite amazing.
He is wonderful.
Yeah.
That personality, it just melted right in, you know, and we're all three crazy, so it worked out.
All the difference.
It does.
Now, even more significant talking to you is the fact that this year is 50 years of Philadelphia.
Gambling Hub, yeah. PIR, it's their 50th anniversary. Yes.
And it's fallen in lockdown. So we have to do something later on. We have to do a celebration later on. I'm sorry.
Of some kind.
Because PIR was too big to just go and say, yeah, it's 50 years this year. Nah, don't worry about it. Nah.
I am so grateful that that we are part of the family, because to me they were just perfect. It was such a perfect match.
Yeah,
a perfect match with the music, and the lyrics. It was everything that we as vocalists needed.
I mean, as well as I say, as you can see, I'm speechless. I'm tongue-tied that I'm able to speak to one of the Philadelphia Queens.
Oh my God.
A very significant year. But, you know, I spoke with Dexter Wansel and Phil Hurt and yourself and Shirley Jones. And, you know, it's a very significant label musically, even to now, that sound. And, you know, it's quite interesting that, well, for the musical geeks out there, the join between Salsoul and Philadelphia label. And, you know, I didn't really know this until quite recently, but I always thought, I love the Salsoul sound.
Yeah.
It's got a great sound, but it's kind of like Philly, but not quite. And then kind of like Philly, but not quite. Yeah, but there's something there that I love, but there's something that's not quite Philly. And then Phil Hurt kindly explained the connection, you know? So it was really lovely to speak to him, and it's lovely to speak to you. So what's happening from here on? Have we got any tours planned for when lockdown is over, or is everything on pause until we get some more definite news?
Well, we are on pause because the entire year had already been booked. And, you know, they said, okay, we'll cancel this and set it to next year. Well, we're in next year, and we're still trying to figure out whether or not when we are going to be able.
Next year is going to happen or disappear like last year.
So we're taking advantage of the time to look at the show and see, you know, what we want to do with it, to it, you know, and if you want to add something or take out something and replace it with something else, and constantly look. Now that you have the opportunity, you can look for costumes without, you know, being crazy. It gives you time to be selective and say, okay, well, I don't want like that, so let's go find something else. So it's like it's giving us a chance to regroup without having to do it in a hurry.
Absolutely.
So we're taking advantage of the time and sort of exercising our creativity juices and trying to come up with something so that when we do hit the road again, we'll be able to, you know, keep moving.
And I think, you know, it really is about how you look at lockdown and what's happened in lockdown. And I mean, everyone's circumstances are different, and some people are losing their businesses, etc. But, you know, if you are in a slightly different position, you actually think, when will I have the opportunity in life again to sit back for a year and actually take stock
You
and
know,
change things or take time to do things that I
yeah,
wanted to do and never got around to do,
there you
because
go.
I was on it. So, it's really how you look at it and the
Yeah,
situation. But yeah, we look forward to seeing the 3 degrees back in the UK
we
as soon as
cannot wait.
possible.
We cannot wait.
I know, because you're very popular over here, always have been for the last 40 years or more. So it's more than 40 years, in fact. It's from the 70s. So
Yeah.
not that you're old enough, of course, but you know what I mean. It's the 3 degrees are pretty special and an iconic group. But so when is your album out, young lady?
I'm not quite sure when I'm ready to release
Okay.
it. I put the single out there, and I'm trying to get a feel for it.
Yeah,
You know,
right. Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
also not being with a record company as an artist. I knew before what it was that they did, but now, of course, not having one, I'm having to be the one to do all those things
Everything.
that all those
Yeah.
things that they did. So, and with technology being what it is, and while we are trying very hard to keep up with what's going on, sometimes we get a little baffled, and
A
we need
little?
help.
I'm telling you.
We need help. So I'm taking my time to find out how to swim in
Yeah,
these.
yeah, yeah. Make sure you
Okay.
have on a life jacket, honey. Don't be jumping in that water without a life jacket.
No, and I
It
want to
is
put
really with social media and everything.
Mhm.
The music industry has changed completely from the
Completely.
old days. It's completely.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
it's really about learning a new game.
It is. It is. It is. And how you're going to reach, everyone,
Yeah.
and fortunately with technology being as it is, it is allowing us a lot more freedom,
Right. Yeah.
so you just have to search it out and find out what to do, how to do, and when to do. And I
Yeah.
found it interesting, though. It's been very interesting. It's been frustrating at times, but very interesting.
Yeah,
And
because with this whole technology thing, once you're of a certain generation, you're gonna struggle. All right. So, it took us a while to get this meeting together. And
you
trust
have
me,
no idea.
I was struggling as much as you were. Don't
And me
worry.
getting the days wrong. It was like, oh God, are you serious? When you text me and said, I'll be with you in an hour. So I thought, what's he talking about an hour? We aren't supposed to talk until tomorrow. And I thought, oh my gosh. Of course, I went back to the message and scrolled down and thought, OMG.
And you actually wrote OMG with a shocked face. So don't worry.
That's why I said, I hope my lashes will stay on, because everything had to go on. And it was like, I used to be able to put it on in 20 minutes because after,
Yeah.
but not having had to put it on in so long, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to look like Ho-Ho the Clown, because I don't know what it's going to look like. But I'm going to do it.
Well, and you've done it.
I pray that nobody calls me and say, Valerie, your lash was hanging off. I thought, okay, I hope not.
Your lashes are not falling off. I would tell you, darling.
Thank you.
We'd stop and start again. Don't worry. Say your eyelashes are just fine. But yeah, I mean, the record industry has changed completely. Record industry has changed completely. And a lot of people are releasing on independent or as independents now.
We have no choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, it's a lot easier. You don't have to fight with everybody, and you get to do what you want to do.
Yeah. So, as I said, a lot of good has come out of this situation. You just have to look at it and see it and appreciate it for what it is.
Go to the brighter side,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, your 20-minute makeup session worked perfectly. You're looking as radiant as ever.
The liners are still on. Okay.
They are still on. Don't worry about
the liner hasn't slipped, you know.
Yeah. So
it's a pleasure.
An absolute pleasure. So lovely to talk to you. As I say, one of the legends, first ladies of Philadelphia International Records, a significant year of 50 years, and you all are still going. And
hanging in there.
You know, inspiration, absolute inspiration to us all. So thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Appreciated.
Thank you.
And, yeah. Look forward to seeing you in person
very soon.
As soon as possible, or as we're allowed.
Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day, yeah?
You too, darling.